Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, how's everybody doing tonight?
What is
Those
up,
watching
people?
on replay, those watching across the United States of America and the world. Appreciate everybody being here. The 127th, I should say, episode Collecting Profit podcast. That's right, 127 weeks in a row we've been here. Almost every Wednesday. Sometimes it might have been a Tuesday, or maybe it could have been a Thursday.
What's up,
What's up, Maddie? How you doing, buddy? So, customary that we're doing that. Customary that's happening on the channel is we are talking wrestling.
Sean,
before the PLEs. Sean Jedi. Yep, forget wrestling. It's about the softball World Series. I guess you have Texas Tech. What's up, Larkin? How you doing? Man, you have game one of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. You have game one of the NBA Finals tonight. Yeah. Hopefully, the the basketball team from Indiana gets destroyed in 4 quick ones. But I mean, I'm not. But I'm not upset or anything.
Yeah, neither am I. They got me too.
But before we talk about Money in the Bank, which is what we're going to talk about is let's talk about the news that has basically come out over the last few days with which seems crazy to me, but R-Truth basically being told that his contract is not going to be hey Kenneth, that his contract is not going to be redone. Supposedly the WWE did make him a lowball offer and he said no. And Carlito is not having his contract done. And now there's also talk I just read today that Karrion Kross, his contract is up in a few months, and according to the reports out there, there has been no talk of a contract extension for him. So,
something was like,
what do you guys think?
Karrion Kross, there's a video I saw, short, where I guess he got on the mic and was like, to you guys in the truck and upper echelon, go F yourself. I don't like what you did to my buddy, and I don't care if you renew my contract or not. So whether that's true or not, Dom, seriously, where are you at, buddy? You're supposed to be on here with us. I sent you the link to your email. Join us. That's all I'm saying. One time. I'm not asking for all the time. Just one.
What do you guys think? What do you think about the Carlito and Truth news?
I'm a little indifferent to it. I like we had talked a little bit backstage. I could see R-Truth either being storyline or not storyline, but I think with the level of talent that they have, and with the level of talent that just becomes mid-carders because they really have so much like top-heavy talent, I don't think many of those guys are going to have an opportunity anyway.
That's true. I don't see Carlito getting anything. I mean, they were starting to have a little thing. They just ran that story with him and Cena. I think they could have kept that going, actually. And R-Truth was the comedic, and he was good on the mic. He had good backstage stuff. Even you kept him just for backstage stuff.
What main thing that gets me is that clearly when you hear that they did offer him a low ball contract, it was one of those things where they probably offered it that knowing, look, he's going to say no, and that's fine. We want him to say no, right?
Right.
But clearly, here's a guy who has been here for 19 or 20 years or so. He obviously, did not want to, was okay, with his role. I mean, he is the most decorated champion in WWE history. I mean, he's a 53-time, 24/7, 365, 48-hour, 19 days a week champion. He was a U.S. champ. He was a tag champ. So I mean, so from that standpoint, I mean, what here's what bothers me with this more than anything else. So get rid of him. So get rid of Carlito. Two guys who look to be okay in their role. Yet now we're hearing that Travis Scott is down in Orlando learning how to wrestle.
I heard that too.
I mean, that's freaking ridiculous. Why don't you go ahead and have Speed? Why don't you have Mr. B? Like, why don't you go to either Instagram or YouTube and sort by most followers and just go ahead and sign them all up and have them go down to Orlando and have them start learning to wrestle because it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely freaking ridiculous. And the thing about, the Karrion Kross thing is, he also came out with that statement without naming names, you know, about, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Logan Paul made this statement about people don't like blah, 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 and he came out and it's the truth. It's even what he said is even true for us fans. It's not that he's not good in the ring. It's just that how he got to where he is had nothing to do with and there's plenty, he earned title matches. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how many matches he has had already that have been title matches out of in his career, but he's got to be one of the only guys where if you look at if you look at how many matches he's had, and you take how many champion title matches he's had, that percentage has got to be greater than anybody else in the history of wrestling so far. And that's what the issue is.
He didn't
It's
put in
not
the work to get those title matches.
right.
just giving
Truth
it to
didn't
him.
need screen time. He didn't need storyline. Exactly right. He didn't need anything. He came out and did what he had to do. He was having fun and so on and so forth. You know, but yeah, we talked about that. Another record low that at every single week or like that. TKO again. They're doing
This is
something.
also Loki been doing it as long as like an AJ Styles as well. So
Right.
you know, he's been around the block, so he's definitely a veteran of the game and he knows his stuff. And I think that's why he's so over with people. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to have the build up, he doesn't have to have the reps. He just steps out there and he just is who he is, and like it just comes natural to him, and he's done it time and time again. I think he could do it regardless if there's like 20,000 people out there. If there's like 20 people out there, he'd still be his same hilarious self.
Oh yeah,
He gets one of the biggest pops out of everybody when he comes out.
For
Yep.
sure.
I don't know why they would.
Yep.
Like I said, short of it being a storyline, it makes no sense to release somebody who gets that big of a pop, selling that much merchandise, and you get rid of them. It just, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, if it's a storyline, then there's going to be a lot of people with egg on their face. There'll be a lot of people, from that standpoint. Look who it is.
Big
Got-
John.
Did go ahead. I did send you the invite to your email. Yeah, and they took all that stuff off of WWE shopwd.com.
Oh, wow.
I'm pissed off that I missed the Tops Now card that they had of him. I mean, if I wouldn't, I'm I'm a little on the the irritated side that I went ahead and and I missed it and stuff.
Oh, the other one that I heard might be going is Valhalla.
Yeah, they've already announced that.
Did they?
Yep, they've already announced that her contract will not be renewed. So I don't know. I mean, to me, it's I don't know, man. I just don't. I mean, I don't get it. It's again. It's you're doing it to people like Valhalla. Okay, I don't know what she was getting paid, but at best case scenario, she was a manager.
Yeah.
She wasn't looking for ring time. She was the Viking Raiders or whatever the hell they're friggin' War Raiders, whatever the hell their name is called. She was their manager. And then you had two other guys that didn't need any screen time. and they were fine, being in the background or being in vignettes and shit like that, But again, you bring Aleister Black, you bring Rusev, you bring Maya May, over from that standpoint. I don't know. I heard some people were saying it wasn't a call up, that it was just like a, kind of what they're doing of having some of these NXT people come up. Maybe he did get called up. I don't know, Lockett. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just heard that it was like a one night thing, but we'll see and everything, from that standpoint. But who knows? I mean, yeah, she won't.
Most of them they bring up from NXT aren't going to be stars, probably.
No.
They'll be mid-carders where they won't get any time.
Well, the funny thing is everybody was, they talk about, AEW losing stars to, WWE. And when they were saying that when Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, oh my gosh, and where are they? They're on NXT again.
Yeah.
Nothing against NXT, but again, it WWE, in my opinion, themselves doesn't really care that much about them, because they would elevate. To me, they would elevate that, make it equal. If you want to really do something, make that equal, on an equal level of Raw and SmackDown, so that this way, you can move people around. You could have the draft. When you have the draft, you have, you have Ava there, you have Adam there, and you have Nick there, right?
Mhm.
And you're drafting whoever you want to draft, but they don't want to do that. So, oh well, so sad, too bad.
Yeah, going back to the thought of them bringing in Rusev and some of these other guys back. I was doing a little research into like the percentages of wrestlers that actually succeed after being brought in from like a rival company, whether that's, like the WCWs, which we haven't had recently. So in recent years, we'd be looking at kind of like the New Japans, the ROHs, the AEWs, like that type of stuff. Currently, there'd been 10 to 20% successes. And I use that fluctuation because NXT is technically considered a success, because some of these guys are brought over with the idea of you're going to be in NXT and then you're going to get a shot from there. But essentially, like some of the guys that were more successful coming over have been like an AJ Styles of late, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and Shinsuke. Those are like out of like the vast majority in like the last, 5 years or so. Those are really the guys that have really stood out, in my opinion.
Yeah, and when you look at that crew, think about it. Owens had a short title range.
Mm-hmm.
AJ had a short title reign. Sammy didn't get one, not as a world heavyweight champion. I don't even think Shinsuke got. I know Shinsuke got maybe like IC or US title, but he never got anything. So I mean, it's a great point, and you're right. That's what why Bobby Roode had a great run to that. He did when he came over, but that was that was a while ago. But still, to your point, Dom. But you're right. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just. It's really tough. It's tough to watch. It really, it's really making me wonder how much, I don't want to say, I don't know, not power, but how much control, how much say a Triple H really actually has nowadays. Because I cannot believe that his booking is this horrible, that his storytelling is this horrible. Not the guy who came out of DX. Not when you look at what they did with that faction, what he did with Evolution, right? When you look at when he was in the ring to what he's showing now, it doesn't make any sense that a guy just doesn't get it.
Yeah. I think he has very limited say in what goes on. I mean, he might have more than that, but I mean, just it's terrible.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
Let's get into it.
this Saturday night, Money in the Bank. If you're on the East Coast, it's a very early start time. It's a 4 o'clock start, I believe, because I think here on the East Coast it's 7 p.m. it starts, and
Yeah.
they're out on the West Coast, so it is a 4 o'clock start. There are 4 matches, and I don't know how they're going to go ahead and pull off a long show.
I see it being 2.5 hours.
We have a tag match that formed from the crap that happened on Saturday night's main event with John Cena and Logan Paul going up against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think personally, this is going to end up with Jay and Cody being successful. Reason for that is I just think it's going to lead into further feuds. And with the title not being on the line, this is a good time for Cena to take an L.
John?
I have to agree, and I think if he does take the L, it's going to be Logan getting pinned. So that kind of breaks up their little tag team. Like, John will blame him for losing or whatever. But you're going to have to see Cody and Jay win this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are looking at, you bring Cody Rhodes back. I think everybody thought it was earlier than we expected to see him.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those matches. Larkin said it's a terrible match for a PLE. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand it. I just don't get it. Big John saying Logan will go to face Cena. Yeah, I guess so. So what? Again, we were talking about it before. You're gonna put Logan in another title match, which is just go ahead and that ruins it. I understand John Cena's thing. I want to ruin wrestling. I get it.
Yeah, John, it
is. So they say this is the main event. So, I don't know. The thing that gets me about this one is, with this being the main event, could we see a cash in from Money in the Bank, depending on who wins?
That would be awesome if that were the case.
Could we see an attempted cash in?
Depending on how this match goes, possibly, yeah. Because John needs his first loss. That's all I'm saying.
Who do you think it would be cashed in on? Do you think it'd be cashed in on Jay?
I think you would have Seth Rollins win, and Seth Rollins cashes in on Jay.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm going to. Even though we just spoiled who's going to win the next one.
Well, no, yeah. But I'm just saying, to me, that's the only that I can think of from that. Could there be a possible cash in? But again, I don't see how this match is exciting. If the scene, like Big John said, the Cena kind of, think Logan Paul hurt him, and then they figure out a way to get the two of them. I don't know when they would go. Because I don't know what they would do. Maybe sometime in July. From that standpoint.
And if it's a Logan Paul Cena, it better be like a Monday night or a Friday night SmackDown.
That's right. They already announced Jay versus Gunther for Monday for the title. So yeah,
they built that up way too much already.
Yep. You could have one of the other knuckleheads win and try and cash in on Cena and fail, but I don't know. Doesn't really do much for me. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. John, what do you think?
Well, from what I'm hearing, there's a stipulation that if Lyra wins, Becky can no longer challenge her for the title.
Correct. And if
So,
Becky wins, Lyra has to be the one to raise her hand.
yeah. So something tells me it's going to be Lyra on this one. So I think Becky's coming to the end of her run, I think. She doesn't look good in the ring anymore. She's everything about her just looks old. Sorry, it does. I'm going to give it to Lyra.
I understand. I can see both ways. I can see this being one of those ones where, um, I hope if it's going to be Lyra, I hope it's like a convincing win. Not like a crap kind of win. I hope it's a convincing win. I can see her going ahead and doing it. It does a couple of things. It moves. It definitely kind of, I don't know if you say pass the torch, but it is kind of helping, Lyra, through this part to actually get this women's IC title championship to mean something. But then again, I can see, them having Becky go ahead and win it to continue. I don't know why you'd want to continue this, but I'm thinking I'm leaning more towards Lyra. But again, I want it to be a convincing win. I don't want it to be no crappy win. And then, you have something with
Yeah.
probably Bailey costing Becky to protect the alleged bell cow. Yeah. Not a bad idea. Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. This could go either way. It's good to put over a young person like Lyra. It's also good to build more credibility in the belt with somebody like Becky. And then with Lyra winning at Backlash against Becky, WWE tends to book back and forth. That's why we've seen X wrestler versus Y wrestler, 5, 6, and 7, so
True.
sadly this could be the same kind of case, what I mean, where we're already sick of this feud. We don't want to see it anymore, but this could just be the next iteration of, Sheamus versus Cesaro all over again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like type of thing.
Or Drew and anybody.
Yeah. So that being said, I'm going to just go green and pick Becky because Lyra won last time. But it would make sense to want to build her up, being that she's young and Becky's old.
Yeah.
Not wrong. There has kind of like what Lockin is saying about, Bailey or something. To me, there seems that there has to be more to this.
Mm-hmm. I'd hope so.
Maybe AJ makes a return.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be boring. I'm sorry.
And then we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. El Grande Americano, Solo Sikoa, Andrade, Penta, LA Knight, Seth Rollins. With it being a no DQ match, you can also probably add Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, to this.
JC.
Who?
Solos guy, JC.
Yeah, Jeff Cobb. Ray Penta's brother can show up. Maybe Chad Gable can show up and help El Grande Americano.
I see the Creed brothers doing that.
Yeah. So,
but who does anybody help? Andrade, LA Knight.
I don't think LA Knight has anybody. Andrade could be,
LWO. Maybe. I don't know.
This one would be interesting to me. Again, Seth Rollins wins, even though you have Jay against Gunther on Monday. You know, a big swerve would be you have Seth Rollins cash in, and then Monday night it's Seth versus Gunther. So I don't think it's out of the realm. I mean, look, it makes 0 sense for it to be Andrade. In a way, it makes 0 sense for it to be Penta, in my opinion. Solo, again, they can go after any title. So nothing says Solo can't win, and then Solo, goes after Fatu. Right? Because you don't have to go for a world title. It's any belt. So you could go for a U.S. belt. You can go for the IC belt. I mean, technically, there are 4 belts that you could go after. It wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really, it's just one of those ones where I hate to say it, but when you look at it, there's only one that kind of sort of makes sense. It's Seth Rollins because he wants the power and all the other kind of stuff. But you look at the others and go, you can kind of sort of see LA Knight winning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, El Grande Americano, that one doesn't make sense. Solo doesn't make sense. Andrade doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
On the right-hand side, Penta, a little bit of sense. He can go after Dom's IC title. He can cash in on that, right?
Yeah.
LA Knight, he can cash in on the U.S. title. He doesn't have to go for one. And then Seth could go after, Jay. So I really don't have a pick because I really don't know. Again, for me, when I look at these names, the one name that jumps off for me is Seth Rollins, but I don't know. Solo wins after Reigns cost Seth. Potential. Gable would be awesome, though. That would be funny as shit to see Gable come out.
Yeah.
All these years, who knew Chad Gable had a twin brother?
I'm with you, though. This match is all over the place for all of the wrong reasons. Like, why should any Money in the Bank winner ever want to, cash in for anything more than, a top title? So that very reason that, it's a possibility just makes this a little bit funky to me. But I'm with you. Seth is the one that I think has the most legitimate shot at turning this into a championship. However, I could see them wanting to use this as an opportunity to, take an LA Knight and, move him into a main event scene or a solo and move them up. You know what I mean? Take these, or even a Penta, and kind of move them up a rung and get them to kind of challenge for a world title, whether or not they win or not. This would also be a good opportunity to get somebody to actually challenge and lose.
Right.
Just with who would actually have it.
Yeah. I kind of lean with you guys. I look at this and the 3, Grande, Solo, Andrade, no. The 2 I narrowed down to were Penta and Rollins. I'm leaning more towards Rollins, but I'd like to see Penta win because he hasn't had too many wins. And like Andy said, they could make it to where he kind of gets a little bit of a push, but like you said, loses it. Goes up against Cena or something and loses it.
Hey, nothing says you can't have Seth Rollins win and then cash in Monday night on Raw.
That's what I'm thinking.
When you have Jay against Gunther.
And when that match is over and Jay wins, but he's beaten up really bad, Seth comes running down.
I mean,
unless Reigns does cost him, which is a possibility.
Well,
but I don't see Solo winning it.
Yeah.
Is Reigns guaranteed to be there?
We don't know. I see all this stuff about him coming back and bringing another person with him, but a lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to be John Moxley." Moxley's not coming back because he's got 2 more years at AEW on his contract.
True, they will be looking for a ratings bump to go ahead if they did something on Monday. The thing that gets me is how long does this match last? Like, how long can these 6 guys go? Because in reality, the only one, in my opinion, I mean, I think the 4 guys. I think El Grande, Penta, Seth, and Andrade, they could go.
Mhm.
They are good. They are good in the ring. LA Knight and Solo, you know. But if this goes 30 minutes, I mean, we're looking at potentially what? A PLE that's 2 hours?
Yeah,
I
I
would
I
mean,
think
would have said
go like 20 minutes.
similar, 30 to 45,
that's crazy.
upwards of an hour, maybe, if that.
I think it's going to depend on how many interruptions you have from everybody's outsiders, since it's a no DQ match. That's where you're going to get your length when they start coming in and, oh, look, here's this person. Oh, here's that person.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
thing you know, the whole locker room's out there.
Yep.
I mean,
This type of match, it's literally 6 people, so you got 6 guys that all need to get their moves out. So, it's going to be one of those things where half the match, this guy's laying out on the floor. The next half the match, this guy's laying out on the floor, while it's like 2-on-2 or 1-on-1 or whatnot, most likely.
And I'm pretty sure we'll see Americano use his little metal plate, but somebody's going to, I think he might get unmasked in this one. Something tells me.
would be interesting. What's going to be really interesting is what happens if in his match earlier in the day against the guy in the AAA in Worlds Collide, they're banking on that being a clean match as far as him not getting any kind of tweak, injury, or nothing.
That's true.
Like he can't go ahead and, get a bruised up. Well, I guess they could change his outfit and they could hide some stuff. You know what I'm saying? But, you think about it, they're really depending on him. But if not, I know I'm making a big assumption that's Chad Gable. I'm making that assumption. But if that is Chad Gable, WWE is making a huge assumption that he's going to be okay in that other match. When we know, and for sure, Anthony, from being there in the ring, ain't no guarantee that everything's going to be clean.
Sure.
Right. I like Lawkins' comment. Truth comes back and grabs the briefcase.
That would be funny. So, we'll see. We will see. I'm not overly sure what could happen here. Again, to me, like you look at me,
I think it might come down to Penta and Seth. That's what it kind of seems like to me.
Yeah, I could tell by the abs it was Otis.
It's Tozawa. Another one. They could have released Tozawa and I've been okay with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys they can release and I'd be okay with.
Ooh.
And then the women's match.
This will be an interesting
Alexa Bliss, Stephanie Valcour, Julia, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, Naomi.
I don't think it's going to be that great of a match, but I have it coming down to either Bliss or Ripley. Leaning towards Ripley.
This one, I agree. I think this one can go ahead and get us a good amount of time. Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie.
Yes, only 4 matches, Dom.
Yep, only 4.
Seems to be the norm going.
I am a little surprised that they put Stephanie in this. I mean, don't get me wrong, very popular. I mean, my gosh, everybody's loving her and everything like that. I go ahead and I get it. To me, I just think it's you know, it's to me. I'm again not saying it's. I guess you could call it too soon. For her to go ahead and win and climb the ladder and stuff. I don't know. I mean, when you look at who has the two titles of Tiffany and Io Sky, unless I'm mistaken, I don't know if anybody at these six has any kind of beef with Tiffany, right?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, Naomi maybe, but I don't think so.
So really, Rhea is the only one who would have, let's say, the beef with, Io.
And really, I don't think it's real heavy duty beef. It's just, hey, you beat me, I want my title back deal.
Yeah.
But I don't, like I said, it's going to be, I think, either Alexa or Rhea. Wouldn't mind seeing Alexa win to go up against Io because that'd be an interesting. They're both kind of smaller athletes, so could be.
I mean, Stephanie against Io would be good. Julia is an amazing wrestler. A lot of people don't realize it, but man, she's really, really good. You can see her against Io. That would be really good. I mean, we already know Rhea against Io would be good. Roxanne, come on, just
Naomi, no. Against either one of them, she wouldn't be good.
I can see Jade coming down. Do you see that they had just mention Jade, but they had a post. It was a a post on X. It is you see it's on Naomi's X, and there's a birthday cake, and it says "Happy Birthday, Jade," and she's slipping razor blades in on the side of the cake and pushing it back into the box.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. I say that her and Io Sky are three of the best women wrestlers out there.
Yeah, personally, I think this one they're going to probably try to use to build a star. Seems to be what they try to do with the women, and just historically, like what I've noticed WWE doing. And granted, they're under new management now, but historically, they see a girl they like, they go with her. Like I remember, like they're like, "Oh, Paige is good. Let's go ahead and put the belt on her immediately." That reason, I'm going to pick Stephanie. But I could also see Rhea winning this because Rhea is like one of the best they have, and getting her to get the belt again would make sense and be a money making move. But if they want to build somebody, I think Stephanie would be a good one. Julia's good too, but I just for some reason think with the recent popularity Stephanie has seen, it would make sense to try to build her up. And she doesn't actually have to go and win the belt right away. It's something she could even hold the briefcase for, several months and kind of build up to it.
Well, and don't forget, the rule has always been you have to cash in before the next Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE has already come out and said that the next Money in the Bank is going to be in New Orleans, and it's going to be in August. So both winners basically technically have an extra, 2
month
months.
And a half, 2 months, yeah.
To so rather than 12, they have 14 months to cash in. I don't know, John. What are your thoughts?
I still think it's one of the top two there. I'd like to see one of the new girls win it, but the way WWE writes things, it's so in your face. You know what's going to happen. That's why I'm kind of leaning more towards Rhea. The men's is probably going to be patched in right away, very quickly. The women's one, I'm kind of thinking like you, where it's going to be a couple months before it's cashed in to build up a story. You already have a story with Seth. If he wins it, we know where he's going.
Yeah. I don't think it's Naomi because I think we see Jade.
Jade or Bianca, one of the two.
Pardon me?
Or Bianca possibly too.
I can see maybe Bianca coming out to do something, with them. Who knows? But to me, that Jade Naomi feud really has not, kind of hasn't had an end or anything like that,
No.
And I don't even know if it's a freaking beginning or something. Who the hell knows? It wrecks storylines, having people lugging the case around forever. True, it does.
It does.
It depends on how they book it, because I think they could make it really interesting, because like you never know when they're going to cash it in. So it could be like a weekly thing where they kind of tease it. They've had people kind of do that in the past where they come down, they sit ringside, they have the briefcase. Towards the end, they kind of act like they're going to slide in, but then they don't. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
if they do stuff like that, it could be interesting. There's a lot of like little nuances that could be fun, but if they keep booking the way they have been booking, then yeah, they'll just ruin it.
I mean, you book storyline and keep it going, you can. It wouldn't be bad. But like again, the way they're writing now, they can't. They don't know how.
Well, you think, look at what they did last with Tiffany. She had it, and she did the whole thing and everything, but there was that little added twist of that she kind of had a friendship with Nia, right?
Mm-hmm.
We already said in the beginning, really nobody here has any beef, at least that we know of, with Tiffany.
And nothing's been brought up. Tiffany's been dealing with Charlotte and what's her name? The heavyset girl. I can't even remember her name now.
Nia?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We know, Rhea has, again, EO took the belt off of her. So from that standpoint, I mean, I just look at this and it's like, okay, again, it's kind of like we looked at the last one. Why Alexa? Why Alexa Bliss? I can't think of a reason why for her. Roxanne, can't think of a reason why for her. Naomi, can't think of a reason why for her.
The only thing I can see Alexa is if she goes after the title Liv is holding.
The tag title.
All right, that is a tag title. She can't do anything there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Larkin. This is a really good group. This grouping is better than the men's grouping, in my opinion, because they're definitely.
Here's the other twist they could throw in: do one of these get injured before the match, and somebody subs in for them? Like you were saying with Jade, did she come back and make it so Naomi can't go in, and now Jade's in there?
Yeah,
I mean, you have all different scenarios that could happen. Same with the men's; it could happen on the men's side too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then I could see it possibly stretching a little longer, but I do not see this thing going past 2.5 hours tops. I don't.
Well, the one thing you got to figure is on both of these matches, each one will get their entrance.
Right.
So in reality, you hate to say it, but for crying out loud, there's what? 18 minutes, 3 minutes a piece, or more. If it's 5 minutes a piece, there's a half hour right there.
That's true.
So that's that's all fill time. So you figure between the men's and the women's ladder matches, you could eat up an hour just with entrances.
True.
You literally can. I mean, it's in the Intuit Dome, so I don't know how long the runway is going to be from when they come out and everything. But you gotta again when you look at it, you gotta think that they could do something along those lines. Now again, I mean, let's face it. When you look at these ones in reality, you figure Alexa, Rhea, and Stephanie would probably be the three that would get the bigger, time for entrance, right?
Yeah.
Julia, I don't know if enough people know about her because she really didn't do much at NXT, and then they brought her over. I mean, she don't get me wrong, she was the NXT Women's Champion and stuff like that, but she didn't seem to take it by storm the way Stephanie did. You
Right.
know, um, Roxanne has always gotten some good pop and everything like that, but now you're trying to bring her in with the Judgment Day thing. So does Liv come out and Roxanne and
Yeah.
ruin it for her? Does Jade come out and ruin it for Naomi? The other four really have nobody to come out and try and ruin it for them.
And if they're going to do it, you're going to have the three young ones come in first, and then probably Naomi, then Alexis, and I think Rhea is going to be your last one to enter.
Well, don't they all start at the same time?
I'm saying as far as if they get their entrance as they come in,
Yeah.
Rhea will probably be your last one.
Yeah. Rhea or Stephanie. But this is a good. This has the potential.
It'll be a really good match.
It does, but I don't know. The it makes you wonder about the physicality of a ladder match.
True.
But if
how
they're
physical the girl's going to be? Are they going to be like the guys? Probably not.
like, I don't know who would.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like in the other match, you could see Solo taking some serious bumps because like, you ain't the future. LA Knight, you could kind of see the same thing out of him. But all these girls, all of that Alexa, I mean, she's the one. Not you, Alexa. Be quiet. Yeah, I know you didn't get it.
You should ask her who's going to win the Money in the Bank women's match and see what she says.
But, like I said, that's the only thing that is. I hate to see I don't. I mean, again, it's chauvinistic. It's call it whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm not a big fan of women's ladder matches, just because of the brutality of them that I've been brought up with.
Yeah, as older guys, we've seen what that good old TLC matches and these matches, what they do.
Well, keep in mind, Rhea Ripley's going to be in this match, and she could.
That's true. She can take a few bumps.
I could see her riptiding somebody through one.
That's what I'm saying. No. That's what I mean. I mean, but it's tough in my opinion. It's cool and it's tough watching the physicality. She picks up Roxanne.
You're not going to see Rhea Ripley.
Could you see her breaking a little 100-pound girl through one of those?
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't think they'll allow her to do it to Alexa Bliss or Roxanne Perez. I see her doing it to possibly Naomi.
Naomi would probably be the one. They're not going to want. I would almost have to believe,
because Alexa just came back from injury. So
I think Naomi's going to probably want to take a big bump. She's got that Kofi Kingston in her that she wants to have that big moment where she does something big, athletic.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is going to be the match of the night, though. I'm pretty sure.
For sure.
I think it starts the show.
Maybe. It's either this or the men's going to start the show. One of the two.
Yeah, I could see it being the men's, and then you do the You have that long men's match. Then you bring the ladies IC, which isn't going to be super long. And then you bring the women's match and you let that go for a little bit. And then you go to the tag match. Man, if this is the best, if this match is on fire and shit, and then they bring out that tag match, which is
trash.
wow.
Unless something happens in that tag match, it ain't gonna come anywhere near that match before it.
A cash in is the only thing that makes that match. Because what else is there going to be? The only other thing that it could be is Seth being so pissed off that he didn't win. He and his crew come out and go against, you know what I'm saying, go against and start beating up Jay and everything, and then you see either Sammy or CM Punk. I cannot believe that you won't have one of those two show up at this show.
And it wouldn't surprise me if you even possibly saw The Rock, because it is in LA. There's that possibility there too. Not that I see reason why, but
yeah, I mean, again, Lawkins said it, Dom said it, Big John, kind of hinted towards it a little bit of. Not like this is going to be great. Like I'm always going to watch.
Right. If you had to pay for it, would you watch it?
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't. Like if it. Not that I did, but like I would not have scheduled something important around it.
Right.
Like to me, WrestleMania, you get a look. I don't care what the hell happens that weekend. No. Yeah. Period. The end. No. Like Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, SummerSlam, like those 5 are the ones that you go, look, these are the days. Sorry. You want to make plans to go out with friends for dinner Sunday night or Friday? You know what I'm saying? Like, but if this one, like if all of a sudden, I mean, if I didn't have people coming over, but like if it was one of those ones, like if it was like Saturday night main event and everything, like that. I mean, I had a card show while Saturday night main event was going on, and the truth is I didn't miss anything. No, I really didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything crazy, and I think the same thing here. You're not going to see anything, crazy. Like I don't know, Again, it's not bad or anything, but it just seems as though some of this stuff, and I don't know if the whole Cena thing, what kind of effect this has on it. I think a lot of, I think it brings, to me, I'm wondering if we get the R-Truth, chance.
Is that where Cena comes out and said, "Look, I got him fired. I told you I was ruining wrestling." And
hey, Adam.
What's up, Adam? That's the only thing I can think of that happening if they get that going, and he turns around and says, "Hey, I got him fired. I told you I was ruining wrestling. I called The Rock and got him fired." Can't hear you, Mikey.
Oh yeah, you're muted or something.
I might have. I think I have maybe 1 or 2 blasters of Select. Well, I don't know what I might have in my one of my cases over there. The stuff that I kind of have on the side. But I was in Pittsburgh this last weekend celebrating Anthony's marriage and stuff, and
did you make a video of all the cards you got, by the way?
I haven't seen one come out, but he's probably going to do one.
No, I didn't. I have the box right here. So the morning of he tells me about this place called The Guy on the Couch.
It's the greatest shop.
It's absolutely nuts. But it's just wrestling.
Love it.
And it's amazing. These were in dollar boxes, but it is like the great
Yep.
Muta, the tricolor teal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just absolutely ridiculous.
I figured it'd be good because I hadn't been there in like a month or so.
Groundbreaker Prism Sensations.
You didn't clean them out ahead of time.
I'm normally the one that cleans out all of the wrestling cards. So
Randy Orton Pink.
yep. I specifically told him to check the wrestling too.
And that's all I did. I went. I mean, I had to buy this box. I picked out 237 wrestling cards. You know, I picked like. I left a couple of R. Again, I didn't know about R-Truth. If I would have realized about R-Truth, I would have got every single. But like, I got every Roman Reigns, every Soul Ruka, every John Cena they had. And like, there were certain ones I didn't care how many they have. I mean, I don't if they had triples, doubles, quadruples, 114. I didn't really give a crap.
Mm-hmm. That's what I did with all their kit and carts last time I was there. Literally.
Yeah,
I just went on WWE to see about R-Truth merchandise. He does have some still on there.
Yeah, but not the Ron Cena.
Not the Ron Cena, but
no, but that was what everybody wanted. Everybody wanted the Ron Cena.
And they got some of his stuff autographed on there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean they'll.
That's what kind of makes me think they're trying to sort. I don't know. If I looked at Friday night, you're gonna have Cena on Friday night, Cody, Randy Orton's supposed to be there, so that could throw a wrench into things as well.
Yeah, it's weird. There's like, I don't know, the storylines are so blurred that it doesn't appear as though there are storylines.
They're like half storylines or quarter storylines. It's like they start it and look at it, and we don't want to do it. Let's just get rid of it. It's just like, really?
Yeah. So you look at what was it? Monday night was the Tozawa. No, not this Monday. Whatever it was, the last Monday it was Tozawa against Rusev, and Sheamus comes out, and then
Is that going to be a feud now?
Oh yeah, it is. It definitely is because he came out on Monday. Remember, and he goes, "I bully bullies."
No, there's 7 matches we're not going to want to see.
So there we go. Rusev against what's his name? Sheamus is coming. And that's probably going to be a SummerSlam match, folks. That's the way it's going to go. Because after this, right? SummerSlam is the next. Well, what do they have in July? Is July
Don't you have the Clash in Paris?
Is that July?
I mean, look real quick. It might be.
You
have another Saturday night main event.
That's here in Atlanta. Because they have NXT. Because that's a weekend thing, right? They have NXT, they have Evolution, and they have Saturday night main event. That's an Atlanta thing.
August 23rd is Clash.
Yeah, but August what? Like 2nd and 3rd is SummerSlam, or 1st and 2nd.
So you don't have anything except for that Evolution.
So July, the big one is the all women's pay-per-view of Evolution,
and a Saturday night main event. Woo!
So you could get Sheamus and Rusev there. Then we'd have to have a follow-up at SummerSlam. I mean, if they're gonna put 12 to 14 matches on SummerSlam, we're getting the same kind of crap that we got at WrestleMania
on the Clash in Paris, probably.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. But the guy on the couch, just to go back to that. I mean, it's the kind of thing which I wish I would. I don't know. Next time I have to figure out how to go up there for like the Pittsburgh card show and.
He gets an entire room at the Pittsburgh card show.
Guy on a couch?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he gets like one of the big showcase rooms. Like he rents out like one of those for himself. So
he's really doing. Wow.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah, I mean there was um an array of people that showed up for the Pokemon. Let's just go ahead and say that.
I figured.
There was a cast of characters, to say the least, of the people that were strolling in. Like every time I'd be like, what the?
Yep.
Okay, focus. You only have an hour and a half. You gotta go. You cannot be late. You cannot be late to the party. You have to go ahead and go through this.
They're constantly busy too, like morning to night, because there's always people there just playing games and meeting with people.
And his shop is big.
Yeah, it's huge.
He has that other room that's employees only, like behind the counter, and they do whatever they do in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean, Pokemon has gone behind the counter stores again. Really?
Yeah, our Target has it all behind the counter.
Why?
People are fighting.
I think it's just getting so big. It's
wow.
I don't see the point behind it at all, but whatever.
I mean, I heard about people talking about what that is it prismatic?
Mm-hmm.
I heard people talking about that. From a standpoint of it going crazy, but like I said, I mean, scalpers and people stealing. It figures because that prismatic, I guess, has been hard to get from what people were saying. But the guy in the cat man, I mean, if I ever come up with that, I'm gonna have to figure out how I can figure. I mean, well, if he's gonna be at that card show, then it doesn't make a difference. So you'd have to go before on like. He's there Saturday, Sunday. You'd have to go on
they're
Friday.
still open while the card show is going on.
Really?
Yeah. They have enough stuff that they can stay open while their card show happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, if I had a lot more time, I mean, he had dollar hockey boxes. You don't see dollar hockey boxes around very often.
He does dollar everything. You can do dollar TCGs, dollar sports, dollar, every sport you can think of.
He even had some 10-cent boxes.
Yep. And those go down to penny boxes because he'll do like once a month, like 10 cents becomes a penny, dollars become 50 cents. Anything above that becomes buy one, get one free. Like he does like really awesome deals.
Get rid of stuff and then you can bring the new stuff in.
Yep. He buys a ton of collections. That's how he does it.
Did you go to John Jabs' shop? Is that still even open?
I didn't know he had a shop.
I know he was there for a while. They were talking about opening one.
I did not have the time. I had Primanti Bros for the first time, which was freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely a staple. But yeah, I could literally go to guy on the couch and sit there for a full 8 hours just digging through bargain boxes.
Oh, you easily can. There are so many of them. I mean, there was the basketball, there was baseball, there was football, there was hockey, wrestling. I gotta believe he might have had a UFC, maybe a boxing. I mean, he might have even had that and everything. I mean, just
and he sells sealed stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Because we just had a new one open up. It's a smaller shop, but it's not bad. But he concentrates more on all graded stuff and Pokemon. He did have a nice array of the junk wax stuff that I always like buying a pack or two just to open. But,
yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. And definitely I did not have enough time. I didn't dare start to look at it. There were 2 wrestling boxes right in front of me. I went through those. I didn't dare look at anything else because I would have been in trouble.
Yep.
I never would have made it back to the hotel in time.
I'll start letting you know when he does his like big sales because you'll have to come in for one of those. You'll end up like leaving with like multiple 2 rows in the back of your car.
I'll just bring like I'll build a couple of like I'll build like 2 or 3, 4 rows and just go ahead and, bring those in. Wait a minute, sir. Are you saying, no, I'm not. This is what I'm going to put on my cards in.
Yes, exactly.
I've got a
I thought it'd be
trailer outside. So
Yeah.
His
Yeah,
last buy one get one sale, I filled an entire Zion case, which was like one of those big 4-row ones.
Wow. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. I actually have to go to I haven't been to my local LCS in a while. I have to bring that that Paul Skeens card because the day I bought the H2 box from those guys, the guy was like, "Yeah, and you could even get a Paul Skeens autograph on this." I was like, "Yeah, no freaking way!" Like, oh shit, Paul Skeens, no freaking way. To 25, bingo.
That's awesome.
Box paid for. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
That doesn't happen very often, huh?
No product. I mean, it's product has been very, very rough. From a hobby standpoint, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, I really, really don't. I mean, you know, they're not they're not really putting anything good out. I mean, here you are, again, not saying we should have a lot of stuff, but you look at baseball, you had, from a 2025 perspective, you had Series 1 and you had Heritage.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically, you're not. I mean, I don't know if they've done any of the higher end stuff, the some of that definitive or some of those other ones. I don't know if they've done
one's
anything
coming
like
out, I
that.
think
Triple threads.
the definitive. There's one high end one coming out here soon, and they also now they have that new one coming out, Dynamic Duos.
Yeah.
That is going to be probably like $600 a box.
Yeah. So I don't know what, I mean, the,
I mean, yeah, next week you have Series 2, but what are you going for in there? There's nothing.
unless it's packed with autographs of Hall of Famers and veterans.
Probably will.
Well, they do have that new insert, but it's like ridiculous odds. The die cut K cards. Yeah, the regular and then the reversed. The reverse one's like 1 in 10,000 packs. It's like, really?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I have I have stuff and everything, but it's just I am going back. There will be a video out, separate video out, probably if not tomorrow, definitely Friday, of announcing when Rip and Ships are coming back.
Nice.
I have that figured out. I believe now I have it kind of done. And then I'm applying for breaks on the DibDit so I can see if I can go ahead and get over there and start doing, some of that and everything. But, it's just, again, it's so hard to figure out where the hobby is going after that massive skyrocket that it took 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to figure out where it's going.
Down.
Down, yeah, but
straight down from there.
I think the next year or two, you're going to see prices go up, and then it's just going to, the bottom just going to fall out of it.
Seems like that's the pattern that it does. Is like it.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean,
it's a good thing we actually like these pieces of cardboard.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's like we've talked about grading on the channel before and all this other kind of stuff and everything. And the one thing that's great about this hobby is that it's like every other hobby that you have. You do what you want to do, right? If you're a woodworker and you sell your stuff and you love making, I don't know, napkin holders or candle holders, and you enjoy that, even though they don't sell well, or the market's oversaturated, but if you love doing it, you do it. It's the same type of thing with this. Just do what you like and go from there, and don't sweat all the other stuff.
Yeah.
People are going to buy what they want to buy. It's like, It just boils down to it is that it's really, really getting to the point, at least for me, once I get, I think, as I transition out of this house, because we are building a house, we are moving to North Carolina at some point in time. And that things will probably change when we move and stuff. From a content perspective, and it might be more, I'll have more time on my hands, so it may be more going to LCSs all over the place and going to local shows and stuff like that to go ahead and try and find deals on product to then go ahead and have card sales with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's again, I just I get wrestling. It's funny. I really thought wrestling is expensive, in my opinion. I thought it would be a lot more expensive than it is right now. I thought WWE would be a lot more expensive when Fanatics / Tops went ahead and got them, and maybe it will.
I think you'll see some higher end stuff out of there eventually.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't even know. That there are still guys out there. When you look at prices and you look at all kinds of stuff, there are still people out there who they haven't realized that it's 2025.
Yeah.
And cards that were going for $300, $400, or $500 in 2020 and 2021, they don't have that value right now.
No.
Look at Zion.
Yeah, and it's not, and it seems that the valuable cards, the want cards, the go after cards. And even though there are more parallels and all this other kind of stuff, it seems like that number is getting smaller and the odds are getting higher, and they're only getting put in the super duper expensive boxes.
Yeah.
Like there's, to me, like with football, there's so many freaking players in the damn league. I mean, would I want an offensive lineman's autograph from the Arizona Cardinals? No.
You never know.
No, but hold on. But if I'm opening up a blaster box and there's one in there, I'm at least happy. Because I got pretend value, right? The card ain't going to sell for nothing but a couple of dollars, but I got pretend value because I got an autograph out of a blaster.
Right.
So my $35 that I paid, even though I only still have about $4.27 in value, but I have perceived value because I got an autograph, man.
True.
You know what I mean? From that standpoint. Like even like what Lachlan was talking about with Pokemon taking a surge, and now it's behind the counters because people are stealing, or people are and the scalpers are buying it all up and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've gone to my Walmart. They have nothing but old basketball and some football. Maybe a blaster of Series 1. That's about it anymore.
Anthony, you're a best buy. What? Cade Cunningham and those guys, when did they come into the league?
I believe it was 2021.
Right. So I can go to my Walmart that's 5 miles up the road.
Mm-hmm.
I can get Chronicles basketball with the Cade Cunningham rookie in it. On the shelf today. On the shelf. Taking up shelf space.
Probably discounted too.
No, not yet.
No.
The Chronicles draft picks ones have been discounted, but the regular Chronicles ones sitting on the shelf today, 2021. 21-22. We just finishing up 24-25.
Yep. It's crazy.
You know, and then they all of a sudden, the thing that gets me is the crazy ass stuff is then all of a sudden you get this random ass stuff. All of a sudden you get a freaking, like a hanger box of, a basketball mosaic, from 2022, from 21, from 22-23. Like there's one hanger box somehow. The guy went, oh crap! Look what fell behind the shelf. Throw this in MJ Holdings box. Have him go ahead and just throw it on. Get on the shelf.
All right.
I don't know. We will see. We will see. We will see. Well, thanks a lot, fellas. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you all for coming in.
You guys got anything you want to talk about? Any coming up?
I don't have anything coming up. I picking and choosing what I buy now.
Yeah, as for me, I'm just looking to get a new get re-established with the podcast now that the wedding and stuff's over. My head's been spinning just trying to get that and the reception planned. So now that that's like behind me, hopefully you and I can get rolling with the podcast again and ideally do something for this upcoming football season.
Yeah. So if you guys know, Anthony and I were doing, we still have the Achieve More podcast, and as people want to talk about that kind of stuff, but we both have kind of talked and said, hey, it'd be a lot easier. Not that stuff is hard to talk about, but it would be a lot easier for us to talk about stuff that we have a little bit more passion about. I mean, I don't have anything against someone who wrote a book or anything like that, but to sit there and listen to somebody talk about it, it's good. I learned, but it's not as it's like woo, right? And we both felt that way. We both talked about it, stuff like that. So we are probably looking at doing maybe a, football, basketball, who knows, stuff along those lines, going through stuff and stuff. So
I'd be more than happy to join you on the football ones. Basketball ones, no.
Cool.
Yeah, of course.
Just don't get into basketball.
Yep. But thanks to everybody who's been here with the chat and everything. Don't forget, hey, check out Anthony's channel. Check out Pittsburgh. Some cool travel video stuff coming out there. I think he's still posting Australian videos. And stuff like that.
Yeah, still got a bunch of shorts at it yet.
Yep. And hey, if you guys want shorts, go ahead and rip anything you want from any of these videos that we ever do together. So free,
like
no copy. These are copyright free for YouTube. The rest of these people
We'll come back next Wednesday for our recap.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, everybody. I'll catch you later. We'll catch you later.